Hey, what's up? Welcome to DGenEd. That's degenerative education, meaning none of this is financial advice. Just me having fun looking at charts. And so this is Crypto Corner Sat Stacker for Saturday, June 21st. Gonna briefly go over my thesis here, and then we'll dive into the 18, but might turn into 19 different cryptocurrencies. But yeah, usually I do start over here with kind of my thesis, but I have gone over this kind of extensively in prior videos. So if you do want my breakdown, basically I just was thinking that the crypto market and really Ethereum was starting to form a bottom in April. I go over that in this Happy ETHster video. There's the URL here, but you can also get the link in the description of this video. And then I've just got a bunch of memes here of people just trashing Ethereum. I think that it could be going from the low of about 1,400 this year up to around 8,000 by the end of the year. So, I am pretty bullish on ETH, but, maybe I'm wrong. This is really just kind of documenting my journey. And, yeah, so none of this is financial advice, really just me having fun documenting this and going over the charts like this on a weekly basis. If you do want a breakdown of my thesis, I do kind of have it outlined here, but I will also include a link to the last crypto corner, I think from a couple weeks ago, where I did go over this breakdown if you do want to get some more details on that. But instead, or I guess I should say I'm now going to move ahead to talk about this table that I will be populating in this video with market cap data as well as price data, and then just kind of going over some of the trades or the dips that I did buy over the past week. I was effectively putting this list with an add column and a trim column in a little notebook. And then I thought, hey, well, I could do that on a weekly basis in Excel and then just kind of copy and paste it, from this weekly tab. I'll be populating it for today for this upcoming week. This is from last week. So from June 14th, some of the dip buy levels were hit as highlighted in green, also highlighted over here. So I'll be going over that, but I'm going to be going over them individually down the list. And from the list, what we can see, because of some of these dip buys, we did see an adjustment in some of the ordering here. I know that Ed is in front of Uniswap and Pepe, but you could see they did, move up. Pepe moved up, whereas Uniswap moved down from number 12 now down to number, looks like 17, and then AVAX, Avalanche, and Stellar, or XLM, they also moved up and down. But for the most part, these tickers have remained in the same location as last week, which is based on, my average price. Not my average price, my risk, how much money I am risking on these cryptos. And so Bitcoin being the highest on the list, and then Loopring at the very bottom being at the bottom. But yeah, I'm not going to waste any more time going over this. Some of the details, I guess, will pop up. These are the exchanges that I use. I do store all of them except for Avalanche on my Trezor hardware wallet. I've got a Model 1 that stores the majority of these, but I also have a Safe 3, which also stores Solana and Solana tokens, XRP, and I guess if there are XRP tokens, and same with Cardano, and if there are Cardano tokens, it would hold those as well. And so that's why I have the Model Safe 3, the Trezor Safe 3, also have the Model 1, but that does not hold those three. But anyways, let's start by going over Bitcoin at the very top of the list. And we can see that I did have a dip buy level, a dip buy order, a limit order placed at $99,000. We have not crossed below 100,000, so that order has not yet gotten filled. I had about $40 placed for a dip buy there on top of daily $40 dollar cost averaging, or DCAs. And I don't plan on trimming my Bitcoin. That effectively, I'm looking at that as a retirement fund. So don't plan on touching that, but maybe I will if it looks like we're at a blow off top, or, if it potentially, changes my life, then, I might trim some of that. But really, there is no trim level for there. We will evaluate if I still think 99,000 is a good dip buy level, because I just want to be adding to my position more aggressively if it is dipping. But anyways, let's look over at the market cap for Bitcoin. Just going to be flipping over to CoinMarketCap, and we can see that Bitcoin is at the top of the list, being number one as always. And it looks like the market cap is still above $2 trillion. So just going to copy that number. Hopefully it, is coming over here. So that looks good. And let's see. Got that. Okay, so it does look like the market cap has gone down over the past week. And let's see. Yeah, by about $50,000. So not a huge amount, but it has come down. And then if we do look at the closing price from yesterday, so Friday, June 20th, what was the closing price? That was at 103,317.80. 103,317.80. All right, and so it still looks like I'm up about 20% on my position, so that's looking good, still with this daily dollar cost averaging. But let's think about, do I think it could be heading down to 99,000? It does look like it is selling off a little bit, but could I see it, doing this little doodle that I have drawn there, which I'd probably want to, move forward if that does happen. And so what we can see is this Fibonacci retracement here. It looks like that blue line is the 382, and that's around just below $98,000. It looks like 97,750, somewhere around there. But let's just make sure that does connect with the high over here. Yes, so that is the retracement from the low here hit on April 7th up to the high that was hit over here at the end of May. And so, I could see price coming down to around 98,000. I think that seems pretty reasonable. It does look like from this little, doodle, this trend line that I have drawn up here, the white trend line, that has been acting as trend line support. We have been putting in higher lows, staying above that level, but we're actually starting to break below it the past couple days, getting multiple closes below that trend line. So that potentially does not look so good. And maybe I can also add the moving averages. So let's just see up here. I'm not too familiar with TradingView. Let's see moving averages. Simple moving average simple. So let's put that over there. And so let's just do that. Oh, I guess I got to upgrade to do that. So I'm pretty sure there's simple moving average right here. There we go. That's looks like the 9-day. Well, let's adjust this to the 50-day. I think that might be a little bit. Yep, so we have broken below that. So, yep, not looking so good closing, getting at least one close so far, because today, Saturday, June 21st, that candle has not yet closed. But don't want to have too much clutter, so I am going to remove that blue line going up there. That's basically, right around where that white line is. So we have broken below that, unfortunately. And I think that we could, like I said, be coming down to around 98,000. We do have, let's see, this Fibonacci level. What's that from? So that from the high here to the low hit on June 5th, and then going up to the highs over here. That would be suggesting around $99,000. So, I feel like 99,000 is still a good, dip buy level. So I might come back over here to go to the weekly chart and just leave that there, 99,000. So I think that is, fine to have. But then over here, since I usually add, let's see, I'll just do the math for you guys in case you haven't seen it before. So basically, if I do $40 a day, so 40 times 7, basically 4 times 7 is 28, add a 0, $280 a week. I basically just add $300 to my account that is on strike, and then that $20 remainder just goes into, a dip buy. And so that I will have to, it expires every week, so I will have to adjust it, but that's going to be going from 40 now to 60. And I am going to just color that text yellow so I know that I need to tend to that. And yeah. So, yeah, I mean, I think that Bitcoin could be coming down to sub 100,000. So good to be prepared for that possibility. But then if it does go to the upside, ooh, actually, before I even say that, before I even get ahead of myself with that, right here, we have the low from June 5th. What was that price at? That low is actually 130. So maybe actually I want to do 100,000 because the low over here on June 5th was $100,377.01. So maybe actually 100,500. That would be above that level. So I actually find that to be kind of a compelling level. And, if it goes lower than that, that's fine too. It's not a big deal. And so I'm just going to make sure that level is lined up just right. So 100, 377.01. Okay, so 100, 377.01. So we've got that there. And okay, the tool's up here, so I'm just going to lock that in place. And, I think that would be, a dip by level, so I'm going to color that line green. And I guess, from the tops over here, we have kind of broken below those levels. So, yeah, I don't know. Those, there was some resistance over there. Did put in higher highs over here. Starting to, go below those levels. Anyways, I do also have this purple line here at right around 102, exactly at 102. It looks like consolidation lows over here, tested over here. We're still not at 102, but I'm just thinking about this green line here, because we have the 104 there, which I should probably color that yellow because we're below it now. Just lots of yellow lines there. I don't know that I really like that. But yeah, I'm just thinking about this 102. If this low is at $100,377, I don't think necessarily 100,500 would necessarily get pierced. So if we do come down to, 101,000 right here, I think that would get filled if we do retest this low. But if we do continue to hold higher low, we don't go all the way down to 100,377. If we maintain that as the low, I think that a fill could be, I could get a fill at $101,000. So that might actually be a dip by level. I mean, it's only $60, so it's not anything too crazy. So I think I'm going to come back over here and I'm going to adjust this to 101,000. Okay, and so that's my ad. And this is one that I'm going to highlight because I do need to place that order. And I do need to check these alerts and whatnot. So, yep, that's basically, what I'm thinking about with Bitcoin. I think that this could be coming down to right around 100,000. but maybe we don't get all the way down to there. Maybe we put in a higher low and don't go lower than $100,377. And so if that's the case, then I would get a fill at $101,000. So I feel good about that for being a $60 one-time dip buy. If it was more than that, like, hundreds of dollars, I'd probably be a little bit calmer, a little bit less aggressive with that dip buy. But I feel all right with it. I feel like big picture, Bitcoin's going to be a lot higher. So like I said, I feel all right with that. And one thing that, I kind of did with the other tickers in last week's video is I think I was just paying attention to putting in, if there was bearish divergence, bullish divergence, whatever. I actually, don't really see anything too much because we have lower highs here. We also have lower highs here. Here we do have, let's see, this is a higher low. Over here we have a lower low. And so that would be, I believe, hidden bullish divergence. Let's just make sure. Hidden bullish divergence. There's this one image that I like to use. I think it's just a really nice, simple example. That's this one. And so what we can see, bullish would be, hidden would be higher lows in the price, whereas the lower lows in the oscillator, which would be the RSI. So we have higher lows, lower lows. There's some hidden bullish divergence, although maybe we're, breaking that down. So anyways, I'm not going to get too lost in the weeds with that. But yeah, I think that 101,000, if Bitcoin breaks below that, I'll still be doing daily dollar cost averaging. So not too concerned either way. So yeah, I think 101,000 is a fine level to add at. So I am going to stick to that. But yeah, now let's flip over to the next one, which is going to be Ethereum, ticker symbol ETH. Let's populate that market cap data. Over here, it is, of course, going to be number 2. And we can see the market cap is just shy of about $300 billion. I'm going too slow with that copy. And so let's paste that over here. All right. And so it looks like that came down over the past week. It was above 300 billion. Now it's below 300 billion. We can check out the price on Ethereum. So yesterday's close, so Friday the 20th's close, was at $2,407.20. So 2407.20. That's come down. And, it looks like I am about 12% up on that position, which was in previous weeks. Let's see over here, up about 20%. So that has taken quite a hit. But still, my average is above the current price. So I feel all right about that. And one thing that maybe, added to my average, made my average go up a little bit more than normal, but actually really not that bad, pretty remarkable, is that I had a $250 dip buy filled. And if we look at the weeklies, that was at $2,450. Currently trading below that at around $2,389, which is very close to my next dip buy level, which is at $2,350. Kind of corresponding with this yellow line here at 2,323, so 2323. That was the low that was hit on Sunday, May 18th. And if we are to be putting in higher lows, we would maintain that as the low, so not go lower than 2323. But maybe if we do get around there, I'd get a fill at 2350. And so that is where I have a dip buy place. I did have 2 of them placed last week. And I think I might maintain another one for this upcoming week. But I am just going to, let's see, I'm going to make that white. So I leave it alone, and then I'm just going to make that 2 yellow because maybe I want to add something there. But yeah, so for this past week, I did get the dip buy at 2,450 For the upcoming week, I do have one placed at 2,350. So I'm going to put that over here. I'm not sure if I have an alert or an order place, so I'm going to delete those. Let's see, is there another level that's maybe a little bit further below 2,350 that I might, want to more aggressively dip by? And this is one that I want to be more careful with. And the reason for that is because it's a $250 dip buy, not a $60 dip buy. It's not even just like a normal daily dip buy. That's a weekly dip buy, because if we do the math, about 36, because with Robinhood, it does, end up rounding down. It ends up being around $35.90 each day. Multiply that by 7. That's about, just a little bit over $250 a week. So this would be like a weekly dip buy, at a limit level. Which, as I mentioned last week, was $24.50. This upcoming week's $23.50, but maybe there's another level that's a little bit lower, because I don't think I want to raise it anymore, because with price currently below 2,400, I think that it's probably going to, just get filled at like 2,400. Even though there are always spreads. So if I do place an order right now, let's say at 2,400, even though the price here is listed at 23.86, I might not get a fill. And so what's the next level down that I think could get a fill? And so really that's just going to be looking at this Fibonacci retracement, which I might actually want to adjust. I have it going from the low over here, but I may actually want to do it from that low over here around 14. So if I just bring that down, we can see where that... we might be finding some support. So it does look like the 382, that blue line going across there, does match with corresponding with this yellow line that I have here at 23.23 being that low from May 18th. But if we break that, if we start to go lower, the next level down is going to be the 50% retracement, and that is going to be around $2,135.35, not being specific to those pennies or anything, because this is just, an approximate Fibonacci retracement, not exactly pinpointing to the lows and the highs. But, with the spread, thinking about that, I could see a fill. If it did come down to this green line, I could see an order getting filled at 2,200. So what I might want to do is put over here, add at 2,300. And I might do this like 2,300 and 2,200. So I'd have those two limit dip buys placed. So I feel okay about that. I feel good about that, but I am going to have to highlight that yellow, so I make sure to place an order for a limit dip buy. Oh man, I'm sorry, I need to just switch the tabs. So yep, I need to add the second one, and so that would be at 2,200. I feel fine about that. Be happy, and that's actually getting pretty close to my average. So maybe I don't want to be so aggressively increasing my average. Maybe it would make more sense for me to try to decrease my average. So even if I am doing daily DCAs, my average will be going up a little bit. But if I do a dip buy above my average, I'm going to be more aggressively increasing my average, and price will then be below my average. So maybe what I'd want to do is actually not do a limit dip buy at 2,200, because I'd already have an additional dip buy for this upcoming week at 2,350. And so I could be happy with that. But maybe 2,150 seems reasonable, because then that's getting my average lower more aggressively if we do dip. So I am actually going to adjust that to be 2,150 right there. So I find that to be compelling. I find that to be, a level that I could stand by getting my average down rather than just getting it up, because I don't only want to be doing that. I want to be not only be increasing my position size, but I also, want to be taking advantage of the opportunity to get my average down if it does present itself. So I think that's good. I feel good about that. And let's see. Yeah, now let's just look over at the Ethereum chart though and see where some levels are to the upside that could be potential, trim levels. And so we still haven't gotten back to this low at around 2323. So these levels up here are still going to hold. So one is going to be at 3,500. It's the 786 extension, or the 100% extension that is going to be around 3,800. But for me, I will probably trim before it gets to 8K. But that's kind of, my thesis that it's going to get up to 8,000. So I'm just going to leave it as the trim level here. I want to be stacking, up until 8,000, or maybe, while it's at least below 4,000. So, and, actually, maybe that's a point though, because if I get my average, have a big position, I'm even been increasing my average, but then let's say it goes up to 3,800. Maybe that would be a good time to trim, to be taking some profits, which would be, well over 4%. That's kind of like my standard. I want to get more than a 4% return. And so it could be trimming up there. If it pulls back, then I could just be adding. Up here, it could be trimming. So maybe I actually want to adjust that to be 3,800. No, because I think that it could be going higher. And so, why would I want to be trimming below 4,000? So maybe just 4,000 is a good level to be, if it's above 4,000, I want to trim. If it's below 4,000, I want to add. So I think that seems because then it's if I'm adding when it's below 4,000, if it does go up to 8,000, that would not be my trim level. That would be my exit level. So, and with that being said, maybe I do just want to go with what's on the chart, 3,800, because that's right here, and it goes up there. I can trim and be taking some profits, 50% profit, something around there, and then, be adding on pullbacks. So yeah, I feel fine about that. My exit level will be 8,000, so I don't want to get those confused. So yeah, I've got that over here. Now let's come back to the list over here. And the next one is, of course, going to be Dogecoin, ticker symbol DOGE. And let's look at the market cap for that one. Doge is number 9 on the list here, with a market cap just shy of 24 billion. So just going to paste that number over here. And that did go down over the course of the past week. Not really too surprised about that. And now let's get Dogecoin up here, US dollar on Coinbase. Oh, actually, no, for Doge, I'm not doing it on Coinbase. I wanted to be doing it on Binance. So this should, yes, very simple, clean drawing there. Let's see. And what we want to look at is the closing price from yesterday. So June 20th, the closing price was 1622. So 1622. And from that, we can see I am now down 7% in my position. I did get a dip buy order filled for $7 at 17 cents. And we're currently, below that, or at least from yesterday's close. I believe we are still lower than that. So now is the time for me to be, continuing to just be, getting my average down, just chilling, embracing it, whatever. And it does look like, wow, it's actually come down to a pretty interesting level. 1581 is, let's see, the Fibonacci retracement here. That's the 786, so 1581. So I think that, do I want to do a dip buy at 1581, or do I just want to do it at 16? I think 16's fine. And I mean, but this could be going lower. So you have 1581. Let's just do, I mean, I don't know that these levels are exactly right. So I think I probably just want to do it at 16. 16, that's fine. So just change this to 16. I need to place that order. My trim, you know, of course, $1. And I don't know that I have alerts or anything, so I'm going to adjust those. Dogecoin dip buy at 16 cents. So that is adjusted. And since I did get that order filled, I'm now going to need to replace it with, you know, another one. And I think I'm fine. You know, Doge is one of my larger positions, so I don't necessarily want to be too aggressive with it. I have less conviction in it long term than Bitcoin and Ethereum, but I do like it. So just $1 DCA and then $7 dip buy. I think that's probably fine. Unless I want to do more than just $1 dip buy, but I'll probably just leave that. But I'll think about it maybe. I don't know. Because while it's down here, yeah, and if we look at the chart, you know, it does seem like where it's currently at, you can see that red line going across. It's starting to get into, you know, good amount of support here. If it goes a little bit lower down to like 14 cents, it's getting into some good support with the top over here, getting into like the meat over here, currently over here as well. And, you know, the levels that we're consolidating around or testing over here broke below, but then bounced, broke below, consolidated just under, and then started to move higher. So, yeah, 1581, I think that's fine. Yeah, I don't know, but maybe I want to go a little bit more aggressive with my daily dip buys. Because, yeah, I'm not sure. I'll have to think about that. $1 right now. And then let's see, where could this be going to the upside for a trim level? Which, you know, I do have that drawn over here. The trim level, that's actually my exit level, not my trim level. So maybe I want to adjust that. But so from the pullback here that we can see down to the 786, I do want to lower this a little bit. And so that would be suggesting price getting up to around 28, 29 cents is the 100% extension. And so, yeah, maybe that's a trim level. So 28 cents. I think I should put that as my trim level. You know, not my exit level, my trim level. And then I could do like a $7 weekly trim or a daily $7 or $1 trim. I'm not really sure. But while I am down, you know, I guess I'd like to wait for this to be down like more than 10%. And then I'd probably increase that daily DCA to be a little bit more aggressive. But, you know, fine with the $7 dip buy, fine with $1 daily DCA. And yeah, so I do have that outlined and stuff, so feeling good about that. Just going to take a quick sip of water. And yeah, we can continue on to the next one, which is going to be iExec, ticker symbol RLC. And so let's populate the market cap data, which is probably going to be very depressing because it's the lowest on the list here. So iExec is number 436 out of all of the cryptos, just shy of $61 million market cap. So it's super small. I'm probably going to lose all of my money with this one. And yeah, so I got that there. It did come down from last week. It was 69,000. Now it's 61, or sorry, million. And now it's 61 million. And the current price, let's check that out over here. RLC, US dollar on Coinbase. And so what do we have here? The close from yesterday on June 20th was at 88.41. So 88.41, and that did come down from last week. I'm down about 57%. Last week, I was down 60%. But actually price is currently lower. Now it's around 84.26, so not looking so great there. I was kind of suggesting that, we were putting in, lower lows over here and higher lows in the RSI, but now it actually looks like the low over here on June 5th for the RSI was 29.05. Now it's 28.80. So that is not really valid anymore. But I do see that, as we are putting in lower lows, the volume is really diminishing. And so hopefully we start to see an increase in volume and this start to find a bottom. But as of right now, we're not seeing that. So I might actually delete. I guess, no, I'll just leave that up there because that's what I would have liked to see. But yeah, I mean, I did get a dip buy. I initially just transferred $200 into USDC in Coinbase. And then I just did kind of a mock order, like window shopping of $100 dip buy versus $200 dip buy. And either way, it was about the same as far as fees. So like if I do two $100 dip buys, the total I pay in fees is about the same as, one $200 dip buy. So I did two $100 dip buys last week. And we can see that for RLC, my level, it looks like, was 95 cents. We are below that very clearly. And, where is the next dip buy level that I could consider? And I feel like for RLC, because I can do, just $100 orders without massive fees, I just do $100 for this week. And I'm just going to, let's see, make that text yellow so I know that I need to place an order, or at least I need to identify a level that it could be moving towards the downside. And so, what history do we have that I could be, going at? I feel like really just like 80 cents, but let's zoom in here to see what the lows are. So the lows over here, actually, let's just do the close from November 9th of 2022. The close was at 79 cents. So I am going to do a horizontal ray at that level, and I'm just going to adjust it so it's exactly at 79 cents. And I'm going to lock that in place, make that green, because I think that could potentially be, dip by a level. And the reason why I'm picking that, just going to zoom in on the chart so we can see it a little bit better, is because we effectively have these, consolidation lows there. So the close here on November 9th, 2022 was at 79 cents exactly. And we kind of tested it. So 79 cents could be a nice dip by level. But if I place an order at 79 cents, let's say a limit order, I don't think that we would, that the order would get filled because of whatever spread. So maybe what I want is just to be keeping an eye, sorry about all of this, to keeping an eye on 80 cents. And so currently, like I said, trading around 84.30. It looks like the low so far was 83.84. So maybe I'll just keep an eye on 80 cents. And that would be where I would want to do another dip buy. And so RLC, 80 cents. And, that is one that I need to tend to. So I'm going to highlight that. And, yeah, I have gotten my average down pretty notably. So just like from 2 weeks ago, my average was 238 last week. I guess it was 238 because I haven't been buying. But then I got it down now to right around $2. So down more than 60%. So it still sucks. But, once I am able to get to break even, then I would trim pretty aggressively, move RLC down the list, and, just lower my risk there with that one. But what is my trim level? I did have it at 238. Maybe we're going to see that level be a little bit higher. Oh, 238. Why did I have it at 238? That's because that's my average. Now my average is 206. So I can, by that reasoning, lower my average. But let's just see. Yeah, I mean, because like up here at 290, over here, this downtrend, that could be like 250. This would be sub $2. So I still think that like my average is a good level to trim at. And so if my average is 206, that is what my trim level should be. I don't want to be getting greedy with it because I just have too much risk on the table with a very speculative, very small market cap coin. So yeah, good to manage the risk with that. And I'm probably not doing a great job managing the risk right now by adding to that position. But I need to lower it down on the list. And I think that adding to that position is going to be the fastest way to be able to do that. All right. And so, yeah, the next one on the list is going to be Ethereum Classic, ticker symbol ETC. Let's check out the market cap for that one. And let's see, Ethereum Classic. It's going to be a little bit lower. I think around 37 is the ranking for Ethereum Classic. $2.3 billion. And I'm just going to copy and paste that number over here. It has come down over the past week, which should not be a surprise. And then coming over here, Ethereum Classic. Let's see, US dollar on Coinbase. And so what was the close from yesterday? That was, on June 20th, the closing price was $16.13. Down 27% on my position. I did get, a dip by fill at $16. My average is $22.01. And I've been doing $2 daily DCAs, which at this point with Doge being, down, being negative, maybe Ethereum Classic, yeah, I don't know. Like, why am I doing a $2 dip buy? It's because over the course of a week, that would add up to about one Ethereum Classic. But, if I get a fill there at 16, and we'll actually need to consider, that would be for one coin, $16. Where do I think this could actually be coming down to? And so 1585, the next level down would be around 15. And so this is the Fibonacci retracement going up to the highs over here. So you see that blue dot there. And so, yeah, this is the 618s, the 786 is around 1446. So I think I could get a fill around 15, right around where the cursor is here. So, I think that's fine. If this does continue lower, I would take advantage of that. So, yeah, for my weekly over here, I'm going to make that 15, highlight that, and let's see. What would then a trim level be for this? Let's see. I have this up here at 24, 27. But I do want to lower that a little bit, just since we did hit a lower low. So that's just shy of 24. It's above 23 though, so trim at 23. Let's see. My average is 2201. So yeah, I think trimming at 23 probably fine. So yeah, just gonna leave that as is, and I am going to adjust this to be 15 and make that yellow because I need to place that order. $2, yeah, I'm fine to do $2 with that. And Dogecoin, it's so high up on the list, so I think that's fine. I think that's justifiable. I'm okay with it. But yeah, why 23? Oh, because of this. Yeah, 2389 is the 100% Fibonacci extension. If we do go lower, like down to here, that would be right around 23. At that point, if that is the case, if we do go down to around 15, then I want to adjust my trim level to around 22 probably. My average at that time would be above or below 22. So I think that would make some sense. But yeah, just leaving this here as is. And then let's move on to the next one, which is going to be Ondo, ticker symbol OND. Let's check out the market cap for that one, which is number 39. So 2 below Ethereum Classic. And let's see, that is $2.2 billion. Copy that and paste that number over here. And then let's check out the price of Ondo. So over here, Ondo is right here, US dollar, okay, on Coinbase. And so what was the closing price from yesterday on the 20th of Friday? The closing price was 73608, so 73608. Looks like I'm down about 21%. I did have for Ondo my dip buy level at 80 cents. Clearly we broke below that. And I did get a fill of $100. I'm just going to color that yellow because I'm going to want to potentially place another dip buy order for that one if it does go lower. But where do I think it could be finding a bottom at? So over here, I do have this uptrend. Kind of unfortunate that we've broken below it. And really, I guess like the low over here from April 7th was 66,301. So 66 cents basically. But if we put in a higher low, we don't quite get there. Maybe I want to increase that, dip buy level. And so let's say that low, I'm just going to mark it over here. That low, like I said, 66,301. I'm just going to make sure that is lined up right. So 66,301. All right, lock that into place. I mean, I don't really want us to be getting to 66,301, putting in a lower low. And if we're not to be putting in a lower low, but if we do go very close to that, I don't necessarily think I get an order fill at 66 or 67 cents. So maybe we want to have fun with it. 68, 69, currently trading around 69,901, hit a low for the day of 68,747. Maybe, yeah, let's not have fun with it. Let's do 68, because I think that could be a level that gets filled. And so let's do, I said 68 cents. And then what will be the trim level to the upside? Let's see, I had it at 120. What is my average? Is sub $1. So why, wait, so 120. Yeah, so why did I have it at 120? And over here, we can see that I have the 100% extension, but we did break lower than the low that I have over here. So I'm just going to move that down to this. And then that would be suggesting around 116. But if we do go back to this green line here, that would be suggesting then that it could go up to around 113. That'd be the 100% extension. So maybe like 110. Maybe that's a good level. That would be below that if we do pull back to around 60. Sub 68 cents. So I'm going to do 110 over here. And I'm going to be paying attention to that. So got that yellow. All right. And yeah, I mean, that's more or less, all I've got to say about Ondo. And yeah, maybe this is, a fake out break below. And we start to see this moving higher, or, maybe the whole crypto market's about to roll over and we're all about to be bag holders. I have no idea. But, $100 dip buy, getting the average down. You don't want to be getting the average down when it is down, not getting the average up when it's up. I think this is actually, more of an ideal scenario. And yeah, we can look at the next one, which is going to be a Litecoin, ticker symbol LTC. And so let's check out what the market cap is for Litecoin. It's number 20 on the list. It's about 6.2, just shy of $6.2 billion market cap. Let's copy and paste that over here. And let's check out what the current price is, or the closing price from yesterday for Litecoin, US dollar on Coinbase. And so the closing price for yesterday on the 20th was 82.96. So 82.96. And it looks like I'm down about 17%. I did have a dip buy placed at 80. That's very interesting. I don't think I really need to adjust that. We're just above 80, or just below 83, or actually where are we at now? Just above 80. See, 81.55 is where it's currently trading. Do still have the 618 here in yellow at 80 cents, so I think that's fine. So coming over here, 80 cents, I think that's fine. I don't have to do anything about that. So just leave it. Well, that's cool. And then trim. What's a trim level, though? I have that up here, and I'm just going to have to drag that down a little bit more. If we do find support at around 80, that would be suggesting around 123, 124 is that 100% extension. And so, yeah, I mean, 120, I think that's reasonable. And so for this one, since I'm not changing either of those, I don't need to adjust the alert level. And I do have the order placed, I would imagine, because have that placed there. And yeah, I'm not adjusting that, so those should be fine. All right, so that was a pretty easy one, Litecoin. Solana might also be an easy one because I also did not get a dip buy order filled last week. But anyway, Solana, ticker symbol SOL. Let's populate the market cap data for Solana. I believe it's going to be number 6 on the list here. The market cap is 73 point something billion dollar, or that's $1 trillion. I've got to get this highlighted to copy it. There we go. All right, so let's paste that number over here. And, down, as I'm sure we're not surprised by that. Coming over here to look at Solana. And Solana futures, nope, scrolling down, Coinbase, US dollar. Okay, there we go. And so what was the dip buy level that I have for Solana? 135. Oh, actually, I'm not there yet. I want to look at the closing price from yesterday. So June 20th, the closing price was 140.15. So 140.15. Down 6%, so not 10. So not being too aggressive with that, with the daily dip buys. Also, when I do compare Solana with XRP and Cardano, I kind of view those three as, ones that I got the Trezor Safe 3 to get these 3. And Solana's at the top, so, don't want to be too aggressive with that. But what was the kind of dip buy level that I had? 135. Okay, so 135, we're getting awfully close. Around 138.11 is where it's currently trading at. Why did I pick 135 though? I guess kind of like, being in the middle there. But, maybe it could be coming down to 130. 130.50 is where the 618 is. But maybe it doesn't go that low. So yeah, I think 135 is fine. Leave that. And then, what's a level to the upside that I might want to trim at? And so from this Fibonacci extension, we did go a little bit lower. And so that would be suggesting a price of around 227. But what do I have over here for Litecoin? 220? Or sorry, 120. What's going on? Solana. I'm looking at Solana. Okay, Solana. 230. Maybe I'd actually want to lower that to 220. So gonna do that over here. 220. Or maybe would I want to do 225? Let's say it comes down to 130.49. Comes down to right around there. 120, yeah, or sorry, 220. I think that's fine because this is now 223 with the spread. I think 220 would get filled, so I think that's good. And these trim levels, I don't have to really, yeah, I'm going to highlight them because I might need to do something with them. Litecoin, I don't need to do anything. This I do. And since I have changed some stuff here, I need to do that, yeah. Because I didn't add any Litecoin over the last week, did I? I don't believe so. Yeah, so don't need to do anything with that. Solana 135, 220. Yeah, it's fine. And yeah, anything else with the chart over here? I don't think so. I think I'm pretty good with that. And so let's just go on to the next one on the list, which is going to be XRP, ticker symbol XRP. Did not get a dip buy fill for this one, so maybe a little disappointing, but we'll have to see what that level is, which is 202. But let's first look at the market cap. XRP ranked number 4 over here. Market cap of about $122 trillion. Hopefully I copied that well. Okay. And let's check out what the current price is of XRP. All right, and so I want this to be US dollar on Coinbase. So let's look there. And so we have, want to look at the closing price from yesterday first, from June 20th. That was at $211.99. So $211.99. Down about 8%. Been doing the $1 DCA over the past week, but did not get the dip buy order filled. So what I'm going to need to do, actually, yeah, I mean, I could just leave that, but what is the dip buy level? 202. Do I see it coming down to 202? Yeah, I mean, that's right here. That's a 618 in yellow. It's really not much lower than current price at around 208. So yeah, I mean, I'm fine to just leave that there. And then let's see where this could be going to the upside. This does look like, I don't really need to adjust it. But just extending it into the future a little bit, we can see that the 100% extension is to around 311, so right around $3. And so my XRP level, $3, so I don't need to change that. 202, I think I'm probably just going to leave that as well. So if I do come over here, can leave both of those. Those are both good. Don't need to worry about XRP, but am just going to continue to do the $1 daily DCA, so I think that is fine. And then now, the next one on the list is going to be Cardano, ticker symbol ADA. And the market cap is going to be for Cardano, ranked number 10 here, coin market cap, $20 billion. I don't know why I keep saying trillion. I was just thinking about Bitcoin, but these are all, in the billions. So 20 billion. I'm an idiot. But yeah, 20 billion. Let's just paste that over here. Just thinking like these have pretty big market caps. Okay, so 20 billion did come down over the past week, and let's check out for Cardano what the closing price was from yesterday. So from Coinbase, we want a US dollar. Closing price from the 20th was 57.76. So 57.76. Down about 18%, have been doing a daily dollar DCA, and did get that limit dip buy filled for $7. And so that dip buy was at 60 cents, currently trading below 60 cents. And so I am just going to, before I forget, just make that yellow. But what do I want the new dip buy level to be? Because we are now below 60 cents. So coming back over to the chart, wow, it looks like we've broken below that 786. And, I'd say this would have to be like the consolidation lows over here. So just a little bit lower, really. So that's going to be like, let's see, zoom in to the chart over here. What was the low from April 6th of 2025? The low was 55.96. 55.96. 55.96. Okay, and so 55.96. And I'm just going to lock that into place. And we can see consolidation lows because we have multiple wicks going below this level. We actually have one close below that level. But really, there was a lot of consolidation there and multiple opportunities to buy the dip there before Cardano, went up. Let's just get a quick measurement from that line. Went up about 50%. So a very nice trade there. And we're testing that level. That's around 56, but maybe 56 doesn't get filled. So maybe I'd want to do 57 as the dip buy level for Cardano. So 57, it's right around where it's currently at. So that may very well get filled. But, I'd be all right with that. And so that's yellow there. But now let's, consider to the upside. What's the trim level? This, we have gone lower, so I'm just going to drag this down approximately to that green line there. And that would be around at 91 cents. So let's just say 90 cents would be the level to trim at. I had it at 95. Now I'm just going to adjust that to 90. And then because I have adjusted both of those levels, don't have the orders or the alerts placed. So that will be helpful for me. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of it for Cardano. Now let's go on to some of the more speculative ones below the trio here. And the first one on the list is going to be Stellar Lumens, ticker symbol XLM. Let's check out the market cap for Stellar, number 16 on the list. About $7.5 billion market cap. Oh, man. All right, and just copy and paste that number over to here. And let's look at the price, so the closing price for XLM. XLM. Futures, no, I want the US dollar right here. There we go. All right, so the closing price from yesterday on the 20th was 241984, 241984, down 36% on that. What was my dip buy level for XLM? Was 25 cents, currently below that. I did get that fill, so I'm just going to color that yellow because I do need to replace that order, and have been doing dollar daily DCAs, which I actually think I don't want to do those anymore for this week because, to be honest, this one, it's not one I can store directly on my Trezor. I have to basically store it via Stellar or Lumens, XLM, whatever. And it's just a little bit more cumbersome than the other one. So I don't necessarily like this being at the top of the more speculative list down here. And so I'm actually going to make that this red. So I know I need to remove that dip buy or daily DCA because it's at the top of the list. So I can let it settle down a little bit. But yeah, 25 was the dip buy level. We are clearly below that now. And so what would the next dip buy level be? I'd say 23 because we have this Fibonacci retracement up here going up to the high, right around here, dot over here, coming down. And so the 786, the red line there, is at, just shy of 23 cents. So I'd say the dip buy level should probably just be 23 cents. Because it's like 22.89. Maybe I'd get a fill at 23 cents. Not exactly sure. But yeah, for this, want to adjust that to 23 cents. Make that yellow. And then now let's look at, the trim level. Where might there be a good level to take some profits with XLM? And so this was at 38.6. I had it at 40 cents. what's my average? 38 cents. So maybe I don't want to be trimming below my average. So 40 cents maybe, but 38 cents, that correspond to basically my average right now. But let's see, just bringing this down. Actually, let's bring this all the way down to the 786 in case we do pull down to there. That would suggest the trim level is around 36 cents up here, that 100% extension. But my average, as I mentioned, is 38 cents. So, I mean, I'd probably just want to trim at 38 cents. Just keep that simple. And just highlight that and delete these over here so I know I need to make some adjustments. But yeah, realistically, I think that the trim level for XLM is probably going to be around 36. So which is, below my average. So it's a little bit unfortunate, but it is what it is. And yeah, do need to replace that dip buy order, and that will be at a price of 23 cents. But now let's go on to the next one, which is going to be Avalanche, ticker symbol AVAX. Let's check out the market cap for Avalanche, which is number 18 on the list, $7.2 billion. And let's copy that, paste it over here. And then the price for Avalanche, US dollar on Coinbase. The closing price from yesterday on the 20th was $17.37. And, I did have my dip buy order filled, which for Avalanche was $17.69. So actually not much lower than that. So that's a pretty good fill there. Just going to color this yellow because I will want to replace that. And, let's see, where do I think it could be pulling back now that it's below 17.69? Basically, the consolidation lows, so like the closing price from over here. And actually, it could be the closing price from over here, because look at how that, we did consolidate around that level over here, but just a little bit lower than it. But yeah, if we just look at the closing price from March 10th, that was at a price of $16.25. So maybe $16.25 is a good level to add. That's at $16.26. I got to adjust it a little bit and lock that into place. So yeah, that's kind of like a double bottom here where lower lows in the price, but actually higher lows in the RSI. So that's bullish divergence. Coming back to that level, $16.25. Since I previously had my order filled, actually at $17.69, and it's currently trading above 17. So, maybe to continue the theme of having fun with 69. Maybe I just want to do 1690 if that does come down lower, because if it comes down to 1625, maybe I don't get a fill at 1625. Maybe I don't get a fill at 1650. Maybe I would at 1669. What was actually the low over here for the day? The low was 1677. So I think that's a sign I should make the dip buy level 1669, not 1690. So this is going to be 1669. Make that yellow. And what is the trim level now? So have it about 30 up here. But we did go lower. If we actually do go all the way down to that green line, that would be putting it at around 28.35. So let's just do 28. Let's just lower that a little bit. And yeah, I think that's fine for Avalanche. And yep, just a $7 dip buy at around $16.69. I think that's fine. And yeah. Okay, yeah, so the next one on the list, just going to scroll up a little bit so we can see the rest of them behind Ed's or above Ed's head now that I've scrolled. So the next one on the list is going to be the official Trump coin, ticker symbol TRUMP. Let's check out the market cap for that one. And so that's going to be at the near the bottom, number 43. Third from the bottom on my list, but definitely goes a lot lower. And that's $1.8 billion. Was around $2 billion for a while, but now a little bit lower. And so just pasting that over here. And now let's check out the price of the Trump coin. So TRUMP, US dollars on Coinbase. Okay, and so the closing price from yesterday on Friday the 20th was $9.19. So $9.19, down about 29%. I did get an order filled for a dip buy. I'm going to need to replace that. My dip buy level was at $9.69, clearly below that. And yeah, where do I think it could be going now? If it's around $9, let's see, $9.11 is where it's currently at. So I would say, kind of corresponding with the tops over here. That's sub 9. So maybe I just do $9. And I could just do, a $9 dip buy to just get one more Trump coin. But I don't need to do that. I can just do $7. I can do fractional. It's no big deal. But do I think it could be coming down to 7? 7's over here. Yeah. But, it's speculative, whatever. So $9 is the dip buy level for Trump coin. Highlight that. And then what is the, trim level? So that is going to be, here it looks like 1866, but we did go a little bit lower. Let's say we do go to that green line just below $9. That would be suggesting around $18 as a trim level. Same, but maybe we don't get a fill there, right at 18. So maybe I just want to lower that to 17. And, I think that'd be a nice little profit there to trim, the excess that I have. So I think that's fine. And yeah, I want to come back to here. And I think that's good. And so the next one on the list is going to be Chainlink, ticker symbol LINK. Let's check out the market cap for Chainlink. Going to be higher up here on the list, number 14, $8.3 billion. All right, and just copy and paste that number over here. That actually went up. Weird. Okay, so Chainlink 8532. This is not referring to the correct cell, apparently. So that's a little bit concerning. Let's see, the link over here was 15. Okay, so I'm going to check both of these to make sure that they are correct. And so this is to 15. Make sure that is to link. So that looks good. Yep. And over here, 15. And so this is also a sign, maybe I screwed up in some other ones as well. So good to be cautious of that. But yeah, 15, 15. So yeah, that's okay. And actually, see, you didn't see it over here, Chainlink number 15, on the side there. So now let's populate this with the data. So Chainlink, the closing price from yesterday on the 20th, the closing price was 12,509. So 12,509, down 38%. Did not get a limit dip buy filled, which for Chainlink was at $12. We're just above that now, $12.51. Actually, a little bit lower now, so $12.27. And the 12 would correspond with, I'm just going to adjust where that is. So left, I'm going to just do it center. And so the 786 is right around 12, so that's why I have that level there. And I'm actually just going to highlight this, move it over, so it extends into the future a little bit, right around 12 bucks there though. So I think that's fine. For the dip buy level, leave that. And since since Link is not a meme coin, it has some utility. Link, I think should be above Trump. So I'm going to do the dollar daily DCA. I'm not going to adjust this one at all. But the levels that I have, so Link 12, but then what's the trim level? Maybe I want to adjust that. So up here, I have it at around 20. I would want to lower this. Let's just lower it down to around 12 or 1180 or so. That's 786. That would be around 20 bucks. So I think 20 bucks is pretty reasonable. And yeah, so I'm just going to do this, lower that to 20. So I think that's fine. And yeah, unless maybe I'd actually want to make it 19 just in case, because that's showing sub $20. So I wouldn't get a fill at 20 because it didn't hit 20. But if there's a spread, I'm not going to get a fill at that exact price. So let's just lower it down to 19, actually. I think that's a better way to go about that. And yeah, so I think that's good. That's for the trim level, but the dip buy level, don't need to adjust that. And let's see, the next one on the list, this one I was green on last week, but I suspect I am red now, and this is for Aave, ticker symbol AAVE. Let's check out the coin market cap for Aave, which is ranked number 30, $3.7 billion. Copy that number. There we go. Paste that over here. And let's check out the closing price from yesterday. So Aave, US dollar on Coinbase. The closing price from yesterday was, let's see, 247.36. So 247.36. This did not go up over the past week, so I'm going to actually have to check this as well. So Aave over here. Aave should be 16, not 17. Over here again, 16. Okay, 16 looks good there. Okay, so that did come down clearly, and it looks like I'm down 11%. So I think I can resume the dollar DCA, and then I'm just gonna have a dollar limit buy, and I'm actually just gonna color all that yellow because I need to place all of that. And let's see, I thought I was doing some more dollar dip buys. Oh no, so I removed that. So I had 4. I only want to have 4 because I got 4, 5, 6, and 7 dip buys with Ethereum. So so this is fine. And then I'd be keeping, Pepe lower, Uniswap lower. That's fine. Yeah, so what am I thinking? I'm thinking, what's that $7 dip buy level going to be? So for Aave, it was filled at 244. Doesn't make sense. I mean, we closed higher than that. But now it looks like we're trading around 244.20. Wow, I barely got a fill on that. That's pretty impressive. I'm actually surprised. I'm just going to check my phone to make sure that I actually did get that dip buy. My limit buy was filled at 244. Yeah, so, okay, so believe it or not, I nailed the bottom there, at least for the week, but I think it could go lower now. And so the next level, making sure that I have this drawn up to the top there, the next level is going to be the 50% retracement. That's around 219, so maybe I just say like 220 for Aave. That would be 220. And there's that. And then what would the trim level be for Aave? Let's see, I had it at 380, so that's really just like the tops here. But now, you know, we are starting to do a little bit of a retracement, so I can do trend extension over here from the approximate low up to the high here. And then let's say it does come down to around 220. That 100% extension lines up almost perfectly with that yellow line just above 280. So the yellow line's at 283.59. The 100%, or sorry, no, that's the 786 extension is at 385.48, being approximate. The 100% is around 430, but considering the tops over here, I think like 380 seems like a good level. So I'm just going to leave that. That's a nice trim level. And let's see, what's my average with Aave? 276. So yeah, I mean, I'd be taking a little bit of profit there, so that'd be fine with me. At you know, very small amount of profit, or 380. No, that's some notable profit. But yeah, that's really all that I have with Aave. I'm going to be adding more now that it's red, so that's good. And yeah, and the next one on the list is going to be Pepe, ticker symbol PEPE. And let's check out the market cap for Pepe, which is ranked number 28. $4 billion market cap. Got that over here. And then let's check out the chart. And so Pepe, I want this US dollar Coinbase. The closing price from yesterday on the 20th was 50984. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 984. Just making sure that's right. Yeah. Okay, and so I did have my dip buy order filled, which was at 4 zeros and a 1. So, you know, that's basically where it's at now. And I'm going to want to not do a daily dollar DCA, but I will do another dip buy. But let's think about where that level should be. And so looking at the chart here, this could be suggesting that it's coming down to like by the 786 here. That's around 50762, or, you know, 5 zeros and an 8. But maybe it doesn't go down there because we do see, you know, consolidation here, consolidation above that level. So maybe there's some support right around here. And that's going to be around, it looks like 50856, just between these two fib levels, you know. And so let's say 5 zeros and a 9. That would be, in my view, a nice dip buy level. So I'll add that over here. So 5 zeros and a 9. And then I'm going to have to add that there so we can see that. Color that yellow so I know I need to adjust it. And then where is the trim level? I might want to adjust that. And so we can see that is up here around 4 zeros, 2148. But we have gone lower. And maybe we do come down to that green line. And so that will be suggesting around 1964. So 4 zeros, 1964. So maybe I'll just see like 19. I think that's probably fine. And so let's do it like that. And ooh, all right, so there we go. And then since I've adjusted that, I'm going to need to adjust those. Oh, and I'll have to scroll so you can see behind Ed. But yeah, 5 zeros and a 9, 4 zeros and a 1-9 for Aave with a $7 daily, or with a $7 dip buy, I should say. Or no, so this is Pepe. This is Pepe, not Aave. What am I talking about? Okay. And yeah. And then now, the next one on the list is going to be Uniswap, ticker symbol UNI. Let's check out the market cap for that one. And let's see, Uniswap is number 27, $4.3 billion. Copy that number over. And let's see the chart for Uniswap. US dollars Coinbase right there. So the closing price from yesterday was $7.07.1. So $7.07.1. There we go, down 35%. Did not get my order filled for, let's see, Uniswap, which was at 650, currently around 7. Do I think it could come down to 650? Yeah. Actually, maybe not. Maybe I actually do want to adjust that to 6. Let's see, what was the low over here? I mean, if I think that things are going to still go lower, probably not good to adjust my orders. But the low so far today was $6.72.6, getting very close to the 50% retracement here at 6.62 cents, $6.62. And yeah, so 650, that's fine if things do come down more. So yeah, I don't need to get super aggressive with it or anything, so just leave that alone. That's 650. So I've got that here. What's the trim level, though? Maybe I would be adjusting the trim level. So that is based on price coming down to around 650. So that's basically the same thing. $10, really. 1090. I don't know. Why 1090? What's my average? Maybe that's why. My average is 1090, so that's why I have it there. And so I'm going to leave that because that's my personal trim level. I don't need to adjust this. So that's good. So weeklies, I can leave that checked as well. And then the next one on the list is going to be Loopring, ticker symbol LRC. Let's check out the market cap for this one, which is super low. 316 is its ranking, and this is just shy of $100 million now. Pretty sad to see it, but yeah, $99 million. And let's check out the price for LRC. Oops, that's not what I wanted. LRC. Not coffee. I want Loopring US dollar on Coinbase. And so the closing price from yesterday was 7.52 cents. So 7.52 cents. Down 61%. My average is 19 cents. And the dip buy level that I had is at 8 cents, which were lower than that. I don't plan on buying any of this until I get my RLC position under control. And so 8 cents, clearly, I do think it could be going lower than that because it's already lower. And so where would that be? I mean, I guess the next level would just be like 7 cents, but maybe there's something in the past. I mean, I'm just going to go arbitrary. 7 cents. What was the low for today so far? 7.23 cents. So yeah, I'm just going to go 7 cents. And what would be the trim level? 19 cents. That's my average. Doesn't matter. And so, yeah, I mean, that's all of them for over here. But there is one that I wanted to add, just kind of fun. I'm not sure if I plan on opening a position with it. But I'm just going to actually just copy this, come down here. And this would be from Coinbase. And I don't have a position in this yet. And this one is going to be 19 there. You're going to like this one. I am very curious about Fartcoin, which I don't know what the ticker is. I think it's just Fartcoin. I don't want that to get super stretched out. So I'm just going to shrink this down to 8, maybe 9. Yep, 9 I think is fine. So Fartcoin, let's populate the data here. Very curious about this. So I'm going to add it over here. Fartcoin. Right, this is add this to the watch list. So let's check out my watch list. Believe it or not, Fartcoin is, higher up than RLC or Loopring. Fartcoin right there. And so the market cap is $861 billion. And that doesn't really matter because there wasn't anything before. So I'll just do conditional formatting. And I'm going to do this referring to 20 over there. And this 20. Okay, so there we go. I'm not sure what just happened there. Oh, because maybe, I'm not really sure. I'll just leave that. It doesn't matter. Didn't have Fartcoin before. So, I'll just highlight it and make sure that I know that it's new, making that yellow. But anyways, let's check out the price of Fartcoin because that's kind of, what got me intrigued about it. So Fartcoin is now listed on Coinbase, US dollar. Okay, and so maybe this is why there's not much data because it was just listed on Coinbase. So maybe I want to do, let's see, Binance. Maybe I'll do Kraken US dollar for Fartcoin. Okay. And so for Fartcoin, the closing price on the 20th was 93.1 cents. So 93.1 cents, so below $1. That's what got me intrigued about it. And then it's listed on Coinbase now, so I could get 100 of these, more than 100 of these. And, but maybe it will go lower. This is stupid, only for fun. But let's do a little Fibonacci retracement from the lows over here to the highs up here. So it has done a 50% retracement, maybe coming down to like 75.5 cents. That would be the 618. Or maybe it doesn't get all the way down there. Let's see what the low was so far for today. 80.67 cents. So maybe like 80 cents would be like a pullback to around the 618. So 80 cents. I could definitely get 100 of those. And so yeah, I might add Fartcoin over here. And the prices for this that I would be intrigued to get at, 80 cents is what I said. Could go a little bit lower. And then where would the trim level be? So if it does pull down to around 75, let's say, I get a fill at 80. That's great. I don't worry about it. More than 100 of them, just for fun. And, this is like just having fun. This is stupid, Fartcoin. But people talk about it because it's so stupid. It's like Doge used to be stupid. But now it's not. It's gained some legitimacy. And Fartcoin is just stupid. That's why people talk about it. So I feel like there's something there. Maybe it could be pulling back down to here, though. 60 cents, like the top's over here. So let's see. 76. But if I just see it, below 80, But let's just get a look at this Fibonacci extension. So from the lows here up to this high, and then pulling back to this. 188, $1.88 is just the 786. So this would be getting some potential dip buys, or hearing some little beeps. Those are just alerts that I'm getting from Webull. But let's see. The 786 is up there. What's the 100%? That's at 218. So, yeah, let's see if I buy at 80 cents, and this goes up to like 188. That's more than double. Then I could just sell half of it and I wouldn't be risking anything. I just hold some Fartcoin, with no risk. That's just funny. So 185, I'll say, which seems ridiculous. Like, what was the high over here? 160, 188, okay. 185. Okay. And so this is one that I need to tend to. So I'll do that. And yeah, so that's kind of like my summary of what my week's looking like. And I'm actually just going to check my phone to see if I did get any orders filled on Robinhood. It looks like, hey, wow, I got my dip buy. Wow, okay, cool. I've been aggressive, but I will add this onto next week's video because I don't have it tallied up here. But Ethereum has come down to, let's see, the low so far today was 2,295. I got my order filled at 2,350. So in total, for my dip buys, I've bought $500 worth of Ethereum at an average price of $2,400. So that's nice. And then now, I just need to consider my next, I'm just going to, let's see, how am I going to do this? This was filled, as I was talking. So that's been filled, and then I will need to place that other one for $2,150. So wow, that's pretty crazy. And just coming back here, kind of gone over this, so I don't really feel like I need to do it anymore, spend any more time on it. Do have the levels here, and then let's just look over at the P&L. It does look like, in the pink here, that is going to be Uniswap. That has gone up a lot, so that looks nice. We also do have the light purple one that's gone up a lot. That is Aave, but pulling back some now. All of them are negative for my positions. other than Ethereum and Bitcoin. Hopefully they stay positive, but maybe not. And I'm going to wait to get more aggressive with Ethereum for if it's below my average, because I want to be getting my average down on dip buys. But yeah, that is basically all of that. And so I'm just going to scroll down here and yeah, just end the video on that. But, you know, as always, those are just my thoughts. If you found them helpful, make sure you like the video, share your thoughts in the comments down below, and make sure you subscribe to the channel for more weekly Crypto Corner sat stackers and random videos throughout the week. Thanks a lot for watching. Hopefully you're having a nice weekend. Hopefully it's not too hot where you're at. And actually the reason why this video is coming out so late today is because I was doing some work outside in the morning before it got too hot. But anyways, have a great rest of your weekend. I'll see you guys next week in the next Crypto Corner Sat Stacker in, I believe it will be July. No, it won't be July just yet. That would be the 28th, I guess, of June. So I'll see you then. Take care, you guys.